All right, folks, welcome to the MATCHERINO show matches. Why did I not call this the show MATCHERINOs? Oh my god. I'm an idiot. That would have been amazing. Alright, well anyways, welcome to the show matches provided here by the folks at MATCHERINO. Really cool stuff going on for today. It's a best of 5 with Beastqt and TLO. This is actually not the matchup that was originally going to happen. This was going to be Neuro versus Mechanic, two kind of amateurish players we wanted to give some spotlight time to, but turns out there was some issues with scheduling or otherwise. I'm unsure. I was basically told 30 minutes beforehand that someone had canceled. So these guys were awesome. We scrambled to find two people to take their place, and both TLO and Beastqt said I would love to step in and play 2 matches today. So without further ado, on the rightmost side of Bridgehead, it's going to be the Green Darren player, Beastqt. Spawning on the upper left, or I guess not upper, more just like left, it's going to be Dr. Dario, but you guys know him as TLO. And one of the, I guess the funny things is for me, we've been looking at True a lot over the last couple of days. True is a Zerg player who has been playing a lot in pretty much everything we've been hosting, casting, etc. And on Bridgehead, I'm so used to seeing him take this base as the natural. It was actually really weird to see TLO take his actual natural as the natural. My brain has to do a double take on this one. But Beastqt and TLO, it's funny, Beastqt, without question, has been consistently one of the better Terran players in Legacy of the Void Beta. You don't need to take my word for it, though. Go look up results from all these weekly tournaments. There's not really been a big major, but even the one major thing that happened, which was the Red Bull Archon mode matches, Beastqt was playing over there as well. So it goes without saying that I've got a little bit of faith in this Terran friend of mine to actually perform well today. But TLO's never been a bad player either, and while we haven't seen a lot of him, and he's only recently taken to Heart of the Swarm, or sorry, pardon me, to Legacy of the Void, and in a big way, no less, it's it is a question of like, can he beat Beastqt? I think right now, in general for TvZ, Terran's still got a lot of good things going for it. You don't really play mech anymore the way you used to. The Cyclone is really questionable at the moment, but outside of that, Bio's looking good. And Liberators have made this matchup a lot more interesting. Whereas for TLO, I mean, all the great things Zerg get come from Hive Tech, come from Layer Tech. It's no longer like you get stuck on this point where you might as well stay on Layer, you might as well stay on 2-2. Like, there's actually a lot of advantages to going all the way in the game. And let's not forget, one of the biggest things, one of the craziest changes most recently to the matchup, was the Larva Inject as number 1, I'd say. You only get 3 Larva per Inject now instead of 4. Not the craziest deal in the world from what we've seen. We really thought this would be a lot more intrusive to macro mechanics, but so far it's not so bad. The other really big thing, though, that I would argue is almost more important is the way Creep acts now. Creep spreads a lot faster, but it also recedes a lot faster. So you get map control quickly, but Terran players also don't get totally screwed out of, you know, being able to take any bases. It's kind of interesting. We'll see. We'll see how this plays out. Anyways, again, thank you guys for using the promo code. Reminding everybody about the promotion through MATCHERINO.com. If you go to the actual, if you're live with us on Twitch chat, type !match1. You'll get a link with all the details. You can see all the players playing. Creep team are going to be picked off right away, though. Beastqt go for a pretty aggressive push. No medevac behind this. No Liberator. It is going to be, in fact, Hellbats. Kind of an old school push, I'd say, but with the Roachborn finishing soon, this might not be too bad. First queen falls, second queen really low. Just trying to kite down the Marines right now is, I honestly think, the best choice for this. The Marines have really consistent damage, and they're really the biggest danger here. Hellbats are, without question, strong, tanky, durable, but as we saw, once the Marines start falling, that constant damage supply also starts dissipating. 3 seconds from getting a transfuse. Can he get it? Looks like he will be able to save that queen. Lings also come out, and we'll be able to deal with the Hellbat. Nice surround out of TLO. Beastqt with a very aggressive start to this game, but doesn't get to the worker line. So he kills some queens, and he scares TLO a little bit, and that's great, but TLO's still sitting on 46 drones, so he's not in too much danger yet. Let's not forget, as well, there are going to be Liberators following this up, and he should see this. The tech lab requirement for this makes this a little more iffy to scout. That's why the Overlord's sitting here instead of running away. It's also got no threat, of course, to it, but you really need to know, is this a weird Banshee follow-up, or is it, in fact, going to be more standard Liberators? And it looks like it will, in fact, be Liberators. So, confirming that now, TLO knows what's going on. Beastqt's not going to waste time killing it. He knows time is of the essence, and he's trying to get across the map to deal some very serious damage to TLO. I missed Mr. Boris's resub, apparently. I'm sorry. Guys, this morning was a bit of a headache getting going, but I'm glad we are going, and I'm sorry if I missed any resubs in chat. I'll try and get those as we go throughout the day. But Mr. Boris Makarov, no, we love you. Actually, for those who don't know, Partouf just recently, we love Partouf. We're going to keep the Partoufs. Nothing's changing. But Partouf recently just stepped down as head moderator. He's still, I think, going to be a little bit casual in the background. Maybe. I don't know. It's up to him. But Mr. Boris Makarov was voted in as the new head mod just recently, actually. So give that guy some love. I don't think he's going to convince me to make some Makarovs as the new currency, but, you know, it's big love to him nonetheless. Sorry I missed that resub, dude. Anyways, Liberator looking for some damage spots. It's going to be hard with the Liberators around. Or, sorry, the Ravagers around. They are a straight-up hard counter to the way the Liberator works, but still a snipe here or there, picking off some Overlords, some map control. I don't know. Beastqt can do a lot with this Liberator. He doesn't need to sacrifice it for 2 drone kills. In fact, the reactor's going to come down for even more Liberators after this by the looks of it. 4th base out of TLO on the way, nearly finished. There's definitely, I'd say, a position down here that Beastqt could take advantage of, which put the Liberators up here and Siege down there. I mean, the Ravagers are going to be a constant threat no matter what, but if the Ravagers are out of position, that's where the Hellions start running by. Can we get some shots here? It's only going to be 1. Looks like Beastqt knows a bit of a sweet spot. Still nothing too dangerous. Still got that Liberator here in the main, poking away at Queens and Ravagers. Oh, he's gonna run. No thank you, sir. Now, Beastqt's still sticking on 2 bases. I want to really stress this really quickly. We don't actually have a 3rd CC being built yet, and okay, it's just now gonna get started. Either way, this map has proven to be a little bit difficult for Terran to take a proper 3rd on. I'm gonna say with huge air quotes. We saw a lot of dancing between 2 bases over the course of the way the betas evolved. Obviously, this has become a lot more of the common one, but down here used to be the go-to. You'd break down your back rocks, you take it back there, and a big part of this was it was a lot easier to get from your main to this 3rd than it was to go from your natural base to this 3rd. But breaking down the back rocks creates a whole new can of worms and problems on their own. A couple of CVs brought to the front lines to try to repair these Liberators up. Going to use these for the follow-up push. It's a lot of Marines. Combat Shield about halfway done, but that +1 and Stim is going to be a lot of damage to deal with. If you want to see my FPS, it's holding strong at 60, which is good because they broadcast at 60. Hype! Alright, and we see Hart in chat there. So we were worried about whether Hart would be asleep or not, but looks like he is awake and ready to go. He'll be playing against TLO after this series. But we did have a small... But we have a bit of a late start, so I'm gonna have to make sure I go with Hart now because I don't know if schedule-y what it looks like for him. But anyways, if you like Hart and TLO, they'll be up next. But we gotta get through this whole best of 5 first. And TLO with some very big power force gonna knock down this 4th, kill some of the Overlords. Actually gonna back away, realizing how many Liberators are coming from behind. Big scary thing here is the Banelings. He's clumped up. He can't really spread too far. Liberator's gonna siege up and do what they can, but looks like TLO is gonna clean up this army. Forces a pickup, gonna run. Liberator barely gonna escape. But the 4th base stands, and TLO actually holds. But one of the key things is TLO is on Hive Tech, guys. Like I said, you don't get stuck on layer like you used to in Legacy of the Void. You don't just go bailing Muta. The Liberators, the Ravagers, they've got this whole new dynamic to what is Legacy of the Void. And with Adrenal Glands on the way, actually, this is really interesting. Zergling Adrenal Gland upgrade was good in Heart of the Swarm. No one's going to say it's not. It wasn't the best upgrade, but it kind of is now. It's a 40% attack speed increase instead of 20%. So these Lings going to be hitting really hard, really fast. The Ravagers are going to come in and get a corrosive bile on the tank by the looks of it. Beastqt going to be a little bit late to pick that up. Baneling's going off on the Marauder, not the Marines. Perhaps a little bit of a problem, but new Baneling's rolling in from behind. These Ravagers looking quite strong in the position they're at. Beastqt's got not a lot at home behind this. His production, it wasn't bad. He just took such a bad engagement across the map. Goes for a counter drop and looks like he might just finish off that hatchery now. 3rd base still not landed. That was a big problem for him while this goes on. Tank going to be brought to that front line, and looks like the Ravagers will retreat for the time being. I'm still feeling pretty darn good here about Beastie's position, or sorry, TLO's position though. One of the big things, of course, is he had a nice drone count while this is going on. You got the Hive Tech on the bedded. He's moving towards Ultralisks, and goddammit, guys, there's no great way to deal with Ultralisks right now. Every Zerg player is going to tell you just make Liberators and tanks. Every Terran player will tell you there's nothing you can do. Obviously, Balance Swine comes into the equation. But the reality is, a good Zerg player who can dodge Liberator shots and not run into really bad engagements with Widow Mines, they're probably not going to worry too much. Ultralisks are just innately strong right now. You get that 8 armor on them and nothing touches them. Even Marauders struggle against it. So when really your only option are Liberators, it becomes a bit problematic. But I'm talking about all these great things for TLO, but he's actually in some trouble right now. Natural base is being pushed away from mining. A couple of drones go down. Beastqt is going to run away. I'm actually surprised a little bit we don't have more drops going down. Oh, huge mule. Huge mule. With the fact that there are, in fact, no Mutalisks in play, yes, there's the danger of the Ravagers, but I'm still a little surprised we don't have more drops. Just feels like this situation would open the doors for Beastqt, but right now just playing incredibly defensive. His third came down so late. TLO taking his 5th as Beastqt really just sets up his 3rd. We have Ultralisks as predicted, but also Lurkers. Ooh, ooh, I love seeing some Lurkers in TvZ, but not when I'm the Terran player. Fuck that when I'm the Terran player. Lurkers demolish bio lines pretty quickly. Even though they did change their damage, so it's no longer just overall good, but only good versus armored, the splash damage effect on Marines is still crazy, especially when you factor in like 1 or 2 Marines, a corrosive bile shot. It becomes really hard to zone and deal with. One of the other things, though, that's kind of cool is TLO is going to have to worry about maybe, and I see with a question mark, maybe Ravens. Ravens had a speed increase, so they are a little bit more viable to bring out, but yeah, I'm not going to try and make a case for that, because it's still not that he's going to worry about too much. Not with crazy mass lings, not with Ultralisks finally in play. And of course, certainly not when Lurkers are coming out. Beastqt moving towards his 4th, wants to make that a planetary, by the looks of it. A couple of siege things, gonna look to zone things out, but oh my gosh, while this goes on, I realized Beastqt's had no new scouting. He saw the Lurker den start, he knows it's hive tech, but he never actually saw the Ultralisk cavern. He doesn't know the timing, I'm sure he suspects it. But no Cyclones, and the Liberator's only just now starting up production again. He is gonna have a not great time dealing with Ultralisks, that's for certain. Tanks towards the south going to pick up some of these Ravagers. Spanley's also get dealt with pretty quickly. This cleans up the force, but it draws everything out of position. Perhaps this was what TLO intended, or maybe this was a happy coincidence. Either way, running in with these Adrenal Gland Lings and Ultralisks. Oh god, these Ultralisks have chitinous plating. They just take no damage. SCVs are being pulled away, but into the clutches of those Kaiser Blades. A couple of siege tanks coming back home for the Beastqt, but I don't know, man. 3 siege tanks versus 4 Ultras. I think the Ultras win. Does force a lift-off over here. Ravager's going to kill this command center despite flying away. Nice corrosive bile shots towards the south. Overlord's got rallied. Oops, that's a mistake. Awkward. But TLO still taking great engagements here with those Ultras. And knocking down that 3rd base was critical. Knocking down the 4th and killing it was even more important. And Beastqt, you know, he's pretty much mined out of his main. His natural base is mining out as we speak. He doesn't have money to replenish his forces, and he certainly doesn't have the SCVs to carry on in this game. Down to 26 SCVs. Let's not forget Viper's coming up next, and I think, well, Beastqt's early push really fell apart, and he had no follow-up to it, and that's a big part of why he's going to tap out. GG! Ladies and gentlemen, TLO will take game number 1. What about making the music a bit louder?